Hi everyone, Ryan Ratliff here, and welcome back to this week's Fly Tying Tips, where we're going to teach you everything you need to know about tying your own flies. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us for this week's Fly Tying Tips, where it comes out every single Wednesday around 3 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you sign up, hit that like button, subscribe, so you can get that coming right into your feed. All right, so this week we're going to talk about something that I get almost daily questions about, and it's dubbing. Dubbing itself, all the different material, seems to be a pretty big confusing thing, but the actual technique of putting dubbing on your thread and using that in tying a fly is a challenge for a lot of people. So today we're going to talk about the 3 different types that I feel are the main techniques that you're going to use to apply dubbing in different situations. We're going to use one hook so you can see the differences side by side of all the different types. I'm going to do different colors so you can really get to see the differences and how they vary. So let's go ahead and put a way bigger hook than I normally would for doing a little bit of dubbing in. We're going to go ahead and start our thread just like normal. Let's start back here in the back so you can kind of see what's going on. The first method is the most popular, and it's what I call, there's probably a technical name for this, but this is what I call just twist dubbing. So this is just some soft dubbing. That's one thing you want to make sure that when you're starting out or trying to learn how to dub, you want something that's pretty soft, not real stiff. So this is laser dub, pretty big staple. You don't need to bring a big, huge ball like this. You just want a little bit. So have a little bit of dubbing here. I'm going to hold this in my non-tying hand or my non-thread hand. This happens to be my left hand. I'm going to put that thread right in between my thumb and pointer finger. And if you notice, there's some wispy stuff here. This wispy stuff is what I'm going to start with. I'm not going to take the whole glob and start twisting it on. I'm just going to twist this little wispiness. I get a decent amount out. And then I'm holding lightly the bundle, and then I'm going to lightly twist or feel like I'm rolling the dubbing around the thread. As soon as I start to see that roll and twist into the big bundle of dubbing that's in my left hand, got a big gap here. I'm going to take a few fingers, slide it up. If there is any separation where I can see my thread, I'm just going to slide it together and twist it. So kind of like fuzzy thread. Not a lot of dubbing was used here. So if you have a rotary vise, you can just rotate it. But you're going to see this lays in really nice and tight. If I want to build up the body, I would just overlap a little bit. But it's going to be a nice, tight ball of dubbing. So that is the twist method. And again, I'm using real soft dubbing here. All right, so I'm going to put a 1/2 hitch in here just so we don't come undone. Going to separate out a little bit. The next style of dubbing or next method of dubbing is what I like to call the split thread. Now, you need to have a thread that actually is either flat, so UTC or a nano silk, something that is a flat thread, or you can utilize the Vivus thread that's in the aughts. The 140 power threads, those and bigger, those are flat also. But the nice benefit of the Vivus thread is it's 2 strands that are woven, but then independently twisted together. So I can counter twist this and then give it a little bit of slack, and the threads will actually split. Spinning it, if I'm looking down at the tip of the bobbin, I want to spin it counterclockwise, and then you'll start to see the thread where you're getting a little bit of twist in it, and then it starts to spread out that twist. Once that twist looks like it's starting to spread out, I give a little bit of slack, and I'll see the 2 legs of that thread on this Vivus, this happens to be 6/0, separate out. Once I see that, then I stick my finger in there, and I pull out a little bit of thread, just enough so my bobbin's sitting on the table, and I have these two legs here. One trick, if you do have a Renzetti or a vise with a little wheel right here, I like to take that little tension knob and I put one of the legs over that tension knob, so it kind of holds it open while I grab the dubbing. So this is a little bit stiffer dubbing here. Again, not a ton. Going to grab that bundle, and then I want to stack it. These fibers are all kind of knotted up, so I'm going to take this and just stack it. So now all the fibers in the same direction. You don't have to do that, but it's just an added step that makes it a little bit nicer. Then pull that loop, put your dubbing inside that, or not loop, but the split thread. And then it's holding it, just the weight of the bobbin's holding it there. I will spread it out a little bit. Make sure it's kind of even right in the middle. And then you can either spin it with your finger here, but I like to use a bodkin and spin my bobbin. Nice heavy bobbin, works real well. This is kind of like a dubbing loop, but a lot quicker. So I can make this go as tight as I want, but basically all I want to do is just hold it in there, and then I can come back in and twist it down. Make it thin, a little bit thicker also than the previous one, but I'm just thinning it down by twisting it here just to make sure it isn't so bushy. All right, so got your twist with the yellow chartreuse. Here comes the blue. Going to notice just a little bit bushier. I'll kind of make a ball there. A little bit bushier dubbing. All right, so that's that split thread method. Progress forward. Put a half hitch in there. Now the final one is the dubbing loop. The dubbing loop is used for lots of different materials, usually a little bit stiffer material. Maybe you're cutting even fur or hair right off the hide and putting it in a loop. But we still call this a dubbing loop. We're not going to necessarily twist it, but we're going to use an actual tool to twist it. So within this, what I do is I take my non-bobbin hand and make a little cradle, wrap around the hook shank there. So I just took my thread up and like I'm starting thread, but I'm wrapping over top of this loop that I made. Come back a little bit, and then I'm going to wrap around and then give it a couple more. When you wrap back over top and then kind of post it or wrap your thread around the loop that you just made here, it pulls those two strings, two pieces of thread together tighter. You want it to be tight up by your hook. Okay. At this point, I need to have some sort of device to hold this for me. So I'm going to put a half hitch in here just for ease. And then I'm going to stick the thread on the bobbin cradle. Get it out of the way. All right, so now there's lots of different tools out there. There are hooks, shepherd's hook like this. There's ones that are kind of look like a pencil with a hook on the end. This is interchangeable piece. This is one from Loon. That one's a great one. There is the old school Griffin that has these kind of funny arms like this. Then there is kind of the modern Stonfo version that's actually ball bearing spinner. Super nice. This one, yeah, I'm gonna probably have to have this one in my arsenal soon. All right, let's go with the old school style. These arms are going to help hold this loop open. So you can see that when I give it slack, they open up, and then when I put tension on it or just the weight of the tool, it closes it. Open, close. Real handy to have something like that, especially if you're struggling with using your fingers in different ways. All right, so this is some natural dark hare's ear dubbing or hare's mask dubbing. Real kind of stiff stuff. This is what I would use at the front of my hare's ear just to make it look bushier. So I'm going to take this bundle Gonna stack it again, just kind of get it the right direction. This also helps if there's any little bits, you can pull that out. That loop, by giving some slack, opens up, and then when I put tension on it, it closes down. Gonna make sure we're right in the middle, spread it all out. Then at this point, I'm gonna slide it up just a touch. Then I'm gonna hold right down at this bottom here. I can either twist it by hand like this, or I can take the weight of it and spin it, get it kind of primed up, get some twist in there, and then I'm gonna ease up on my hand and let that twist go right into it. Again, you could also take your bodkin, put it over top, and just give it a spin. Takes a lot of spinning here to do. If you had one of these ball bearings or something that's a little bit heavier, you can spin it. It's going to spin a lot quicker than this old style. But this is the way we've done it for years. Then at this point, I give it a little pull, make sure chunks don't come out. At that point, just a little bit of loose stuff comes out. So I'm going to twist it just a little bit more, just to tighten it. Then I'm going to take my brush. So this is one of these boar brushes, and I'm just going to rake through this. Kind of picks it out. Anything that's trapped down in there is going to make it stand out real good. Now I can wrap this. We'll use this for a collar. We'll use this for the front of a nymph that looks like legs. Just kind of sweep it back. Get to here. Gonna tie off that loop with a couple different wraps of thread. And then at this point, I got 2 of them on there. It's going to hold it down. Then I can trim it off. Boom. So now you can see the 3 forms of dubbing that I use for tying my flies, different situations. You can trim this if you needed to, pluck it out more with boar brush, but the twist method, the split thread, and the dubbing loop, those are the main ones that are going to get the job done for you for anything that you need in your fly tying. Again, as always, thanks for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. Give me a call at the shop if you have any questions. And all these products obviously can be seen or purchased at madriveroutfitters.com. Thanks for joining us.